Back to jail. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, baby. We're starting the podcast right now. We're back. You know what, dude? Live. Welcome, everybody, to the show. YKWD. I started social media and podcasting. The fact. The YKWD podcast. YKWD's back again. Old school, back in the day, where it all started. Before them all. YKWD. This podcast is so fun and crazy. It has no rules. Shut up. You're ruining this. Where's the bandana, man? Sorry, it's a comedy podcast. This isn't NPR. That's what this podcast does. Is there any better show? This is the original. You know what, dude?
What the fuck are you drinking?
It's strawberry water.
I get shit on for drinking protein lemonade, and you're drinking strawberry water with a strawberry in it.
You drink piss water out of a fucking jug from Lyoto Machida. That's MMA master piss.
Mm-hmm.
And I mix my drinks up. I mix them up.
So what do you mean?
You drink the same piss water every show and the same thing. That's not, I mean, if it came in its own bottle, I'd be okay with it. But you're mixing that into a thing of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, tell
yeah. All right. I mean, look, I'm all for you. I'm so happy for you. Do you get as excited as me when the thing's going and we're about to enter the room and fucking, and then it comes on and then we're here and I know that the ladybugs are here and we're here and you know what I mean? I mean, I do you get it? I mean, I get so excited and happy.
You want to know the truth?
Yes.
I do get very excited. In fact, do you know when you have something to do during the day and in the back of your mind, it's always like, oh, I fucking got something to do today I don't want to do. That never happens with this show. I'm always excited when I go, oh, I got to do the show tonight. Except today. It's
Why?
not that I'm not excited to do the show, Bobby. It's that my wife at 7:04 is not back from getting her nails done. And now I'm in here with my daughter and her friend on her iPad and my dog in here because my wife is too irresponsible to get home on time so I could do the show.
Oh, my God.
My dog's going to shit on the floor. My daughter has to whisper. Just drive me crazy. But I'm in a good mood.
That's so, is the word insulting I'm looking for?
Irresponsible. She's home. Get out.
Are you talking to your daughter?
Yeah. Now let's go. Out.
Stop. What's wrong with you? Don't talk to her like that.
Listen, freedom now. All right,
She's in
7:05.
front of
I'm not even mad at my wife anymore. 5 minutes. All right.
Okay. You forgot to hang your Calta Kelly sign up behind you, too.
See that? I'm sorry. You don't understand. They give me shit every morning when I don't switch it to the morning show on.
Well, they should.
Galvin's like, yeah, you signed, dude. Change the sign.
Oh, he gets mad?
Yep. So I think I have to ask you, since you're the king of Zoom.
Yes.
But I think that I'm going to get rid of this sign.
Whoa.
Buy a 32-inch flat screen television that would go right there. And then I could do everything digitally behind me.
Ooh. That would be better.
Yeah. That's the
case. It would light up the back of your head. So you'd have a little separation on that side of your head.
I didn't tell you, I got a new webcam. I didn't tell you
that. I can tell.
You can? Because I don't think you can.
Yeah, no, it looks better than it was.
because the webcam I was using was my son's from when they had homeschool because of the pandemic. So when school ended, I go, hey, give me your webcam. Let me see if it's better. So I put it on here and I'm like, yeah, it's better. And then last week when I was at the beach, I'm like, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a webcam yet, but I do need to upgrade. So I spent like an hour researching best Zoom webcam, best online video webcam, and they all pointed to this one. So I ordered it, and within 2 days, it was at my house. So then I said to my son on Monday, hey, do me a favor before the show starts. Go get that new webcam and hook it up for me. He comes in and he goes, you're an idiot. I go, why? He goes, you bought the same goddamn webcam that's already. So I made him install it, and I gave him his old one back, and well, yeah.
Well, it's a good webcam. I mean, you're not the king of Zoom.
No.
But you are, good. You look good. I mean, you're not, as HD as me, 4K as me.
Yeah.
You're 1080p, but you still look great. Better than 99.9% of the people out there. I'm just the 1% of amazing.
The guy said I look like a pit bull with a digestive issue.
Who said that?
Some cunt. Rick.
Rick.
Lou, I would never make you buy that sign. I would send you that and trade it for nudes.
Nudes?
Yeah.
I like nudes too. We got a great show tonight for you guys. First of all, patreon.com/Robert Kelly. Watch it live. We have a great show. A lot of you were saying you don't know who the guests are. You don't know them. Well, one of them is a director. He actually directed, I believe it's called Trekkies. Mush, are you
documentary?
Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah.
Roger Nygard. Don't be afraid to say his last name. A couple of you are afraid to attempt it. I understand.
The hard Y.
Roger Nygard did Trekkies, and he also did the movie Suckers, which my friend, my mentor from Boston, one of the guys that really helped me out at the beginning, Joe Yannetty, who was a writer on Rosie and a big guy in the late 80s, early 90s. And he moved to LA, and this was kind of a story about him working as a car dealer in LA.
Yeah.
At one of those shady car dealerships. And they're coming on tonight. They're re-releasing the movie. Now, I know you didn't watch the movie. Did you watch the movie?
I've seen the movie before.
Oh, tell me your favorite part.
You learn the whole thing about how when they go in the back and they're like, I got to go talk to the finance guy. I got to go talk to the other guy. And they keep going in the back and they tell you it's all bullshit. And then the bald-headed guys. Remember I told you I thought the bald-headed guy was Lawrence Tierney, but it's not. It's a guy that kind of looks like low-budget Lawrence Tierney.
Right.
The guy who plays the mob lawyer in every mob show or every police
all right.
show.
Yeah, I'm sorry I doubted you.
Apology accepted.
I'm sorry I doubted you.
Roger has also worked with two of our heroes.
Who?
Kevin Costner.
Fuck you. On what?
And as you call him, Ben Affleck.
Is it Ben Affleck, like the insurance?
Yes. No, that's Affleck. It's Ben Affleck, not
I'm
Ben
confused.
Affleck.
Is it Affleck or Affleck?
It's Affleck.
Affleck?
Whatever. I'm not saying it anymore. It's starting to sound
just
weird.
help me out. Help me out. I want to say it. Ben Affleck.
Ben. Repeat after me.
Ben.
Fleck.
Fleck.
Right. Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck?
No.
Ben Affleck.
No.
Ben?
No.
Do it again.
No.
Just do it again. One more time.
Ben.
Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck.
I hope a bug flies in your mouth when you're saying it.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Beautiful. Don't ever say it again. You've nailed it. Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Anyway, he directed Ben Affleck in Man About Town, Kevin Costner in Black or White.
What's Black or White? I never saw that.
It's a movie about blacks and whites.
My Bodyguard? Wasn't that movie?
My Bodyguard.
Was that that movie?
I think Roger was too young for that.
No, black or white. Nothing on the. Get it? Oh, all right. Hey.
Wait, there's more. A lot of alien shit. Jim Carrey. You worked with Jim Carrey.
On what?
High Strung.
I don't know that. What's that one?
I don't know. That probably was like before Jim Carrey was super famous.
Well.
Oh, it's Jim Carrey and Bob Odenkirk.
Bob over. Yeah, he's great too. I think Bob did one of that animation farm something. Barnyard. Remember Barnyard?
Yeah, the kids' barnyard with a cow.
Yeah, it was a good. It was actually a great movie. With Kevin James was the fucking pig.
Yeah,
High Strung. What was this about?
By the way, Roger also, Suckers that in addition to Joe Yannetty, also stars prisoner Lori Loughlin.
Yes.
You might know her as prisoner 875022.
Yes. That's correct. She's in the movie. And the movie's very you couldn't make this movie today. Let's just put it out. Let's just say that. This movie could not be made today.
Do you know that Roger also edited some of the best television shows and directed some of the best television shows on TV?
What?
Veep, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Wow.
Crashing. And directed The Office and The Bernie Mac Show. Yeah, you didn't know about all that, did you?
No, I did not know about that. No, I like Roger. He's a good guy.
I don't know Roger, but I feel like Roger should be a guy we should be pitching shows to. Roger could take Fat Science and run with it. Make the Fat Olympics.
What was the other movie we came up with?
I have so many.
You have so many, or we have so many?
I have so many. I'm sitting on pilots.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'll tell you when Roger's on. I have pilot. I mean, you're involved in all my projects.
What the fuck is involved mean?
Okay, so I have one show called One Last Job, but you're not right for the part.
Why?
Because you got to be black.
That's racist.
It's not racist. It's the character is black, so it would be racist to have you play a black man would be racist.
Well, can I just is it one black man in the whole show?
It's one black man and one white man together. All right. I'm sorry. I was thinking about it. I got to think out of the box. Maybe you play the white man.
Maybe.
The white man needs to be younger, I think. He needs to be more like a Vince Vaughn in Swingers kind of guy.
What are you talking about, dude? I have the skin of a Filipino boy. I look 20 years younger than I am.
You want to know the truth? I wrote the pilot with somebody in mind. I don't know if you're going to want to hear it.
I do.
Chris Stefano. I know. I wrote it with Chris Stefano and Faison Love in mind. And Faison gave it a thumbs up. Ice Cube said he wanted to produce it.
You wrote it already?
I wrote the pilot.
And you never gave it to me to read.
No, I don't need. I wrote 3 pilots.
You wrote pilots and you never gave it to me to read.
No, I did not. My other one's even better.
What the fuck is up with that?
I don't know.
Bobby, you don't know. Answer the question right now.
Lou said Bobby's a great actor. He could play black. That's how you get canceled.
Buddy, what the fuck? Are you lying?
No.
Why wouldn't you let me read the pilots?
I don't, because I did it before we started doing the show. And I don't know. I wrote that one.
Yeah.
I wrote another one called Me and Wang.
Yeah, you and a Chinese guy?
No, it's about a guy who adopts a family who adopts a little Asian kid.
Me and Wang, that's what you're going to call it. I mean, are you really that fucking dumb?
No.
You're going to fucking pitch in these times. What's the show name? What's the show about? It's about these family, Italian family, really live in Tampa. They adopt a little Chinese baby. Oh, what's it called? Me and Wang. Are you out of your mind?
No, it's not about an Italian family. It's not about Tampa, and it's more like middle America. And you're right. We should call it Wang and I. Wang and I is the right way to say it.
You shouldn't call it Wang and I. That sounds like a porno.
Wang and I.
Just now.
Wang and I. WAGENEYE. Wang and I. And then you find out it stands for Wang and I. Wang and I.
No. Oh, stop. It's not even tricky.
I like it. You know you like it.
I don't like Wang and I.
Tuesday nights on Wang and I.
Sounds like a new dog breed. What is that? It's a Wang and I. I don't like it.
Oh, my Wang and I died.
How about
Wang and I just shit in the living room. Oh.
How about you call it Wang and the Elephant?
I'm not in it.
Oh, all right, forget it.
No, you know who's supposed to be in that? Who I wrote that for somebody too.
Yeah.
That's it. That's interchangeable, but I had one person in mind when I wrote it.
Who?
Tom Cotter.
Tom Cotter for what?
To play the lead role, Wang's father.
So Tom and Carrie Louise, with their 3 little toe heads, adopt a little Chinese baby named Wang.
Tom plays like a midday talk show host, like a local midday show. You know those shows that you comedians hate to go on?
Yeah.
And he wants to be like the next Regis. And his wife left her job when they got married so that they could chase his dream. She used to work at CNN.
Oh.
Then she keeps wanting to have kids, but he keeps putting it off because he's concentrating on his job. So she convinces him to adopt the kid, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck it, whatever you want to do, adopt the kid." So they adopt the kid, and they get an Asian kid because it's easier. And then he thinks he's getting called in for the Regis promotion, and he gets fired. And she has to go back to work at CNN, and she becomes a huge hit again. And now he's stuck with the kid, and he never wanted the kid in the first place. So he hates being around the kid.
So he didn't want the kid, and not only that, he got Wang.
He lost his job.
Yeah.
He lost his chance to become a Regis, and he's stuck with Wang. And now he is with Wang, and he didn't like Wang, but then finds out that Wang, even though he's like 4 years old and doesn't really talk a lot, is a fucking genius, and only Tom Cotter knows about it. So he starts doing stuff with Wang in order to entertain himself and have some fun and make money. And then, of course, they get in trouble. Depends on how far down the road you go.
All right. Max wants to say hi.
All right, Max, into the show. He can be the bully. And
No. First of all, my son's not being a bully.
He's an actor.
No, it doesn't matter. He's not doing it. I refuse.
Hey, what, Wang? What's wrong with your eyes? Why do they go that way?
Real quick. 2 seconds.
Can I have him read a line for me?
Hey,
Hi,
Mike.
pal. Oh, I like the haircut.
From New Hampshire.
What is it?
Maximus, get out. Go. Get out. Get out. Goodbye. Dawn, you son of a gun. You're right. I think his audition went well. He gets the part.
He's hired. Bully.
Little bully. What the heck?
He already bullied a half Asian kid for me.
Oh, God damn.
Jesus Christ.
Well, anyways, I didn't know Roger. And Joe, my friend Joe, lives up in New Hampshire now. He's got like a boat. He's on a lake every day. He was doing but I told back in the day, back in Boston, Joe was one of the guys, one of the big guys. And we got to get him to tell us the incident with him and Colin. There's another movie called When Comics Stood Out, When Stand-Up Stood Out. And it's all about stand-up comedy in Boston when it started with, we're talking Dennis Leary, Lenny Clark, Steve Sweeney, Don Gavin, Tony V, Jimmy Tingle. All these guys started comedy where it wasn't. And they created this Boston style of comedy, of very smart and very in your face and really funny, nonstop. Fuck you. and they used to make guys audition in the kitchen if you wanted to be in the show. They did shows for fucking Blow and Cash, and
the 90s.
and they all lived in a house called the Barracks, over somewhere in fucking Boston somewhere, and they used to party and fucking do shows and do blow and get shit faced, and they owned the town. They were like rock stars, and then when guys used to come in, when they used to come in, and when stand-up stood up, when they used to come into town, like famous comics from New York or wherever, they would front load the show with all these heavy hitters. As like and they would fucking just blow everybody off stage.
Do you remember?
The headliner would just bury them, and one of them was Colin Quinn.
Oh, really? Do you remember how?
All right, this
huge...
Nathan Kelly kid. All right, with the fucking making the comments a fucking fuck fest.
Ooh,
Jesus Christ.
Rick Hypnotic's got his back.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Just fucking stop with your bullshit. All right, make it funny. We get it. Move on, you fucking cunts. I'll fucking douche you out of this room without a fucking heartbeat. Got it?
I should have you do my Twitter account.
It's just these fucking cunts. I mean, at least be funny. You know what I mean? He looks like a bloated. No shit. He looks like a blood that got stung by a big. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, cunt.
Yeah, Nat. At least you changed your name, so I'd have to say fucking Nat 1289. At least you did that, Nathan Kelly. Fuckface. It's funny that he took my name. Run him by your fucking sister before you put him in the fucking comments. Stop just throwing stop swinging at everything, you fucking half a queer. Anyways, so he's on tonight. We got to ask him about that. And then, and I didn't know Roger did a lot of shit.
Roger's still doing a lot of shit. Roger's got a huge. He worked on a lot of films and a lot of editing, directing, and TV shows. He did a lot of shit.
But if you look at like this movie right now, you can't. I mean, this movie's got some crazy shit in it.
Yeah, this was the first movie to expose what bullshit the used car sales were, or any car sales.
I never knew Elise was a fucking fuck fest. You know?
Yeah.
There we go. There's Roger.
I am a little early, but here I am.
Of course you're early. Of course, you're an early guy.
I'm the organized guy. Yeah, Joe Yannetty is always the one I'm pulling around behind me.
Yes, you're the director and you produce, so you have to be organized. Joe is talent and a writer.
Disorganized.
He's at Starbucks right now waiting for his latte. And or he's on a boat watching the sunset. Hi, buddy. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
We're already broadcasting live, so no N words.
All right, the rest of the alphabet.
Oh, the rest of the alphabet, yes.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Mike Calta here. And me. Mush is in the background somewhere. But we were just talking about how much, because I know you from Suckers. I know you from Trekkies, and Mike just read me your resume. Apparently, you're a big deal now.
We're in my way into the comedy business from the side door. Apparently, I work with a lot of people who's. I guess they seem to agree that I know what's funny, even if I'm not funny.
You are. I mean, you've worked on some of the funniest television shows in the last 20 years with Veep and Curb Your Enthusiasm and The Office. I mean, that's tremendous.
Yeah, The League and even like Grey's Anatomy is I enjoyed. It's, you don't think of it as a comedy, but they have comedy scenes.
Yes.
And my documentaries are comedies to me. I mean, they're real documentaries, but I make them because they make me laugh because I think humanity is funny.
What? So I mean, that Saturday Night Live skit, was that a inspiration for you where Shatner just yells at all the Trekkies where you're like, because now everybody does stuff at Comic-Cons and all that, but Trekkies was really the first one to really go out there and look at that weird fucking world.
Yeah, we were the first, obviously. I mean, there've been a lot of fan documentaries that came after us. People
Yeah.
saw Trekkies and it inspired them to make documentaries about the fandom of Star Wars or the X-Files or My Little Pony or whatever.
I've seen
But
that.
to me, what inspired me was it was a 30-minute documentary called Mondo Elvis. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I know it sounds familiar, so
It
keep
was
talking.
it got very little release, but I saw it on VHS in the early 80s, and it's about super obsessed Elvis fans.
Yeah.
And I never forgot it. It stayed with me. And one thing I saw in there that I completely appropriated for Trekkies was they had an Elvis or an auction of Elvis memorabilia. And what people were paying for things that someone might have touched that was near him, like the most
Yeah, I did see it. Now that you say that,
association.
I remember that now. That was insane. And then there
Yeah.
were some of the other things. They had like a tooth that might have been Elvis's baby tooth. It's like things like that. That was insane.
Might have been. It
Yeah,
might have been.
might have been.
Not have been. But
Yeah.
then,
You-
so I found that what people do hilarious, but also the key I think for me in making Trekkies and Suckers or whatever I do is that I want people who are a part of that world, whether it's Star Trek fans or car salesmen or UFO fanatics or married people, like my new documentary. I want them to be able to watch the documentary and laugh with me. We're making fun of the idea of what it is to be human. So I want them to be in on the joke as well.
Yeah.
What's your new documentary about?
It's called the Truth About Marriage. And I found the truth and presented it, and it's a comedy.
Just a bunch of guys getting jerked off at a massage parlor at the end.
It's complex, and that's certainly one aspect of humanity.
A bunch of wives that don't care. What time are you coming home? Wash your hands.
Well, one of the questions I asked in the documentary was, and let's see how you answer. Who is the boss in most relationships, the man or the woman?
Oh, I know for sure. It's easily my wife.
Why does everyone says that? Is universal agreement that it's the woman that's the boss?
I can also give you the answer.
I'm the boss.
We're all the boss. But you're going to answer that question. You're going to say your wife, because the truth is that no matter how happy you are, you're not happy if she's not happy.
That's
Right.
not true. I'm fucking delighted. When I've been on the road for a month on tour in Canada. She was miserable. Who missed me? I was fucking delighted. I was hanging out with other comics. I was having a great time. I was
You
doing
weren't there. Yeah.
Wow, what are you talking about? I'm the fucking king. I get an email from somebody. Read that, fill it out, sign it. I go out and do my shit. I hand her a check. What's for dinner? I'm the boss.
Where do I get one of those?
Get one from Everett, Massachusetts. She has American Indian and Polish in her. I don't know what that mix is.
I think
It's
she
the
had
right
a couple
mix.
other guys in her while you were in Canada too, because she was like, "Fuck him! All he does is give me the money and thinks he can do whatever he wants."
Yeah, your wife. First of all, Calta, your wife is not the boss. I see you.
Listen to me. I'm telling you right now, if it comes down to making a decision between her and I will do whatever she wants to do because I don't want to deal with the bullshit that comes afterwards, making her the boss. At the end of the day, I'm the one who's stronger. I can always have her killed, or I can always drag her out to the alligator. I know deep in my heart who runs the fucking show. But the truth is, on a day-to-day basis, to make my marriage work, she's the boss.
Here's my explanation or my theory. Let's just say it's a theory.
Yeah.
In any given relationship, there tends to be one person who is the more logical one, and there's one who's the more emotional one. It could be either the male or the female. Either one could take that poll. Sometimes it switches, but in general, someone is the more overall, more logical, and one is the more emotional. And whenever there's a conflict, and there's inevitably a conflict, and you have to get back to happiness, that means you have to come to an agreement of some kind to return to happiness. And the logical one wants to litigate and say, well, play back the tape. You said, and see how right I am. The emotional one just wants to be heard, wants you to acknowledge that they're hurting and maybe say you're sorry. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong or who said what. Once you acknowledge and say, you're right, let's hug, then you can get back to happiness. And so emotion always trumps logic in a conflict.
I didn't hear a word you said. Listen, blah 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 blah. Shut
He's
up.
right. He's very right.
What do we have? Are we having chicken thighs? What do we? I don't, I'm 50 this year, Roger. I don't care if I walked in and she was banging my producer Mush. I'd just be like, "What's up? Let me know when you're done. Me and Max are gonna go swimming." I don't. I mean, at this point, maybe 5 years ago, I would be like, okay, but now it's. I think we're just holding on until one of us gets cancer. What's up, dudes? Winning season returns at mybookie.com. That means doubling your first deposit. What? They're doubling it. It's time to celebrate the NFL season. Invest in your intuition. Use promo code YKWD and double your first deposit. New players get up to $1,000 in free play. That's crazy. Designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet on. Okay? It's simple. Make your picks. Boom. Win big. Bang. Collect your cash. Whap. Use promo code YKWD and double your first deposit. Your winning season begins today, right now, only at MyBookie. Why use ExpressVPN? ExpressVPN lets you access the internet as if you're from a different country. Most of you don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Some of you nerds know. Netflix has different shows, different movies available depending on where you are in the world. With ExpressVPN, you can unlock thousands of new shows and movies, streaming libraries from around the globe. That's the round thing. Some people think it's flat, but they're out of their minds. Using ExpressVPN to unlock content. ExpressVPN works with many streaming services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, BBC, iPlayer, YouTube, and many more. It's so simple to use. Just fire up the ExpressVPN app, change your location, hit connect, and then refresh the page. And the show, movie that you want to watch is magically, it just appears. Right now, I'm telling you, use this. You'll love it. If you use my link right now, expressvpn.com/YKWD, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Nothing. Lugats. That's expressvpn.com/YKWD, and you get 3 months for nothing. Go now and enjoy everything from around the world.
Did you talk to same-sex couples too, or just men and women?
What did I miss? What did I miss?
We're talking about your relationship, Joe, and why you're so successful in relationships. It took him 3 times to get it right.
Took a lot more than 3. I only married 3 of them.
Yeah, I was there for the middle one. Woof. Oh my
You were there
God.
at the end of the first one.
I was there. I was there at the end of the first marriage, Calta, and I moved it. First of all, the second wife, we were at Nick's Comedy Stop. Waitress, smoker. I told you the night. Smoker shows up. Everybody wants to hook up, including me. Joe's like, I'm gonna go out with her. We wound up going to the billiards back when billiards was a thing, right? There was mostly Irish guys with like a couple Asian guys in the back. Now it's just all Asians.
Right.
But we went and he took her out. He's I'm gonna go out with her. Within I think I bet you money. Didn't I bet you like $25?
Yes.
I
think you bet me
$25.
that she wouldn't go out with me at all.
Oh, at all. This
Yeah.
guy married her 6 months later.
Wow.
It
Boy, were
wasn't
you wrong.
6 months later. How do I get my green screen on?
I don't fucking know. This isn't Zoom. This is something else. But
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
I
funny.
know. I looked it up.
I was his best man, right, Calta?
Uh-huh.
So I take him. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna take you. We're gonna go strip clubs. He's like, I don't want to. I'm not into that. I don't do that. I'm like, fuck you. We're going to strip clubs. It doesn't matter. We're going to strip clubs. And he goes, I don't. Oh fuck. So I bring him all the way to Rhode Island because Rhode Island, you can hang and bang. You can
Right.
grab titty. You can bring him in the back room. You can finger pop one. You can treat it like a Tootsie Pop. 1, 2, 3. And we go in, we get all the way down there. We sit down, front row. The girl comes out. He's like, oh, all right. He's getting into it. The girl looks through her legs at me And I go, Lisa? She goes, Bobby? I go, Joe, we got to go. I fucking knew the girl. And she was like, I got to work. I got to make money, but I can't do it in front of you. I'm like, Joe, we got to go. He's like, you cocksucker. You got me all the way here. I finally looking at some ass, and now we got to go. I wound up taking him to like this MILF disco. It was called the Vogue in Saugus, Massachusetts. It was just me and him with a bunch of old broads with freckle tits, just dancing to like fucking like the night if I want a boogie on the disco ride. Remember that?
Well, I remember right before we left, I said to my future wife, she said, "Where you going?" I said, "Me and Bobby gonna go get blowjobs." And she goes, "What?" I go, "Well, it's bachelor party. That's what you do. You get a blowjob before you get married." She goes, "You can't do that." I go, "I don't have a choice. I have to do that." And she goes, "I'm telling your mother."
No, that was the plan, though, Joe. You didn't know that. We were getting blowjobs that night.
We were?
Yeah, oh yeah, we were getting. I don't care if it was me and you and your fucking cougar. We were gonna definitely.
Cheers.
That was the last blowjob that Joe ever got.
Good try. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I was thrown off by Joe having the gayer drink than Bobby.
A gayer drink.
Look at yours. Now look at Bobby. Oh, just your
bourbon in Waterford Crystal.
Yeah. And then look at Bobby's strawberry in a mason jar.
Oh, man.
Here's my healthy water.
Yeah. And then I said to Bobby, I said, I'm going to teach her how to do stand-up. And I swear to God, there wasn't even a half a second of a hesitation. He goes, "You fucking deserve everything you get."
I swear to God, Calta, I was just like, fucking idiot. Don't do it. Oh, before you know it. Oh my God, it was terrible.
Now, how did you what's that?
I go to LA. So I go to LA. I met the stripper in Boston. I mean, just
notice a theme
smoker.
here.
Yeah.
Smoker. I mean, smoker. She's in LA. She's like, come out here, begging me to come out there. I finally come out. But, you know, like a lot of things in my life is based on my fats. You know, she knew me at one of my skinnies, and I was slipping into one of my fourth fat. Right.
She didn't see you. She didn't know the fat was approaching.
She knew me. Yeah. She knew me at my third skinny when I was smoking body, but I was slowly slipping into my fourth fat. Right.
You weren't that far gone though. And I
wasn't that far gone.
You had hair.
I had hair. So I show up in LA. She picks me up. I know within fucking 10 seconds, this broad is not into me, but I'm supposed to be living with her for 2 months.
Oh,
dude, I'm fucking fucked. I'm out at Hermosa Beach. She's a stripper. She's leaving, coming home late at night. She sleeps in the bed. I try to nuzzle up to her. She fucking kicks me off her, wants nothing to do with me.
Oh, I'd love to hear that phone call to her friend. Hey, when I saw him, he had fucking hair. He was skinny. Now he's chubby and he's bald. I don't know what the fuck to do. And now he's here for 2 months.
Oh, it was terrible. And then I remember I snapped in the middle of the night. I was like, fuck this. Fuck. And I grabbed all my clothes. I called Joe. I go, dude, I'm out of here. And he goes, you can come stay here. So I stayed in his spare bedroom on a fucking blow-up pad. The blow-up mattress with a bubble in it. Yeah. But it was also his wife's closet. So every morning I heard her go, snip, 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 snip.
While you're in the closet, she was getting dressed in the closet.
Yeah. She would get her clothes up, but they'd always be fighting in the morning. So she's just slamming these hangers. Click, 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 slap, slap, slap. And I'd be like, oh, I remember we'd be out on the lawn for fucking 4 hours talking about your argument.
You guys turned into brother and sister.
Yeah, because you went on the road for fucking 3 weeks, and I was just stuck there with her.
Well, it wasn't just me on the road. If you remember, it was right while Roger and I were working the deal with HBO. So we'd be on the phone with the producers of the movie, the agents, the people from HBO, and Bobby and my ex-wife are walking around pretending to have guns, like they're secret agents coming around the corners in my house trying to shoot me while I'm having the most important conversation of my career. They would be rollerblading in the courtyard at the house, chasing each other.
He was so mad. He's on the phone. He's fucking. I'm talking about this huge deal that's about to go down, and we're fucking being 3-year-olds in the house. And I remember him yelling at us, like, just to hold enough. This is before we had mute. You know, you had to hold this on the phone.
It was a real phone.
Oh.
And I'll tell you something about Bobby Kelly. Absolutely, hands down, the easiest person to scare the shit out of.
Yeah, I see that.
He would be in the shower. I would go and get a milk crate and put it right in front of the bathroom door. I would stand on the milk crate, put my hands up in the air, and he would open the door in a towel, and I'd just go, hello. And he would scream like a little bitch for 5 minutes.
You almost fucking killed me once, you cocksucker. He would scare me all the time like it was fucking. It was annoying. He'd do it like at least once a day. He tried to fucking murder me with a scare.
Him and my wife in the closet. I come in the house, they're in the closet putting their clothes back on, pretending to scare me.
Oh, dude, that was, looking back on that time too. I mean, I was so like I don't know what it was. It was just like who gives a fuck? There was no pressure. I mean, you probably felt pressure because you were at a different stage of the business than me. But
everything was going good for me.
I had nobody in my life. I'll go wherever I was sleeping on a floor, trying to get auditions, trying to get on stage. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, but then he saved my life. I was gonna kill her. I would have gone to jail. He was like, because by then Dawn moved to LA, and you moved in with Dawn.
Well, no, Dawn moved to LA. Yeah, that was a weird time too, because she moved to LA with this girl from Southie, and they were living underneath 2 twins from Boston. Just 2 good-looking twins. It's like, yeah. I never asked her about it because I don't want to hear about that weird story. But
can I ask her?
No, you can't. You can ask her on Thanksgiving.
Can we put it in Roger's next documentary?
No. Then I would have a fight with my wife, and she would move in with Bobby and his girlfriend.
Right. Dude, I remember that. I was staying with Dawn. Dawn had an apartment, so I moved in with Dawn because over there was a little crazy, and I was there for a little too long. I think I was there for like 3 or 4 months. I go over there. They got into a fight. She moved. She wound up coming over with me and Dawn, sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, and Bobby's like, listen, you're a big, scary asshole, and you got to stop. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And he's like, you need therapy.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I have a question. I remember at that time, you would tell me stories, and I wonder if it was about Bobby. You had a friend who you would tell that we were making this movie, Suckers, and he didn't quite understand you were actually making a movie.
No, that wasn't Bobby. That was
who was
Tom.
that?
Tom.
Oh, your friend Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're making a movie. And he didn't quite get it.
Yeah. And because I told him, I said, read the script if you want to play something. And then he showed up on the set one day and he goes, you're making a movie. I go, well, what the fuck? I told you. He goes, yeah, but like a movie. It's like there's like 150 people there, crew members and everything. We had a whole car dealership we rented, and he couldn't believe it. And I was like, you could have been in it, but no one believed that I would have ever gotten a deal like that. So everyone was like, yeah, right.
How did you and Roger hook up?
I saw Joe doing stand-up at the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, probably around 1988 or so. What year did you move out to LA, Joe?
86 or 87.
So yeah, soon after he was there, and I had just moved there myself around that same time, and I was working for Rollins, Joffe, Mora, and Bresner. It was a management company, and so I was there with my bosses, and we were watching comics, and Joe was on stage and telling stories about growing up in Boston. And I never forgot. I always remembered a lot of those stories, and I said, we should write about this. And so Suckers wasn't the first script. It was maybe the second or third or fourth thing we wrote together, but the first one we got made. And I always just liked how Joe would tell stories about his family, and it would just kill me. We'll never go hungry as he slap his mother's ass, or get me the S. His dad would discipline him by go get me one of those encyclopedias. S, the thick one.
I do a morning radio show here in Tampa, and people are always like, "Oh, you're funny," and I go, "I am not nearly as funny as the people I grew up with." And I always say the same thing: if I could somehow capture the stories that they tell and turn that into a movie, people would love it. But you need to really get those authentic people like Joe.
Like Uncle Cheesy, you had this big long story about his Uncle Cheesy, and I always remembered that. And I think we wrote about Uncle Cheesy once, and there's shades of Uncle Cheesy and Reggie, I think, and everything. Every character, there are elements of Uncle Cheesy.
Yeah.
What are you crying for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you Joe, come from the era of Boston comedy when it was, I mean, fucking crazy. When
It was rock and roll.
I mean, it was Sweeney and Gavin and Noxie and Lenny and I mean Tony V and you and
Kenny Rogers,
Stephen Wright, right?
That's like
Stephen Wright.
Yeah, people don't understand how fucking every single show was like the funniest show those people will ever see in their lives.
Well, every show had 5 of the funniest people ever. You know, like the first shows I went to were Barry Crimmins, Stephen Wright, Jack Gallagher, Kenny Rogerson, Lenny Clark, Steve Sweeney. Like all the headliners, like the biggest headliners in Boston would be on one show at the Ding Ho, and they do 5 shows in this little tiny place.
Right.
And it was amazing. And a few months, well, actually probably over a year ago now, we did a show for Jimmy Smith in a theater. And I remember sitting down right next to the stage, and Jack Gallagher was on. And I was thinking, what is that noise? What is that feeling? I got like this feeling like I was home, and I was like, oh my God, that's the entire audience laughing so hard that they can't breathe.
Right.
And it, like the entire show was like that from beginning to end. And you don't realize I was 20 years old. I had never been to a live show before. So you don't realize that these guys are like the best there is. Ever. And then after a while, I look back on that and wish I could have appreciated more what I was witnessing.
They're still coming out of Boston too. You like Bill Burr's from Boston.
Yeah. Bobby's good friends with Bill.
Yeah. Joe List is another guy from Boston that's just fucking killing it. You know?
I remember Lenny Clark was so huge at one point that he was Oprah's only guest on the show. He did Oprah when she was live, and he was this big funny white guy that I was like, I know that guy. I used to see him on late night comedy shows all the time. And I mean, that's a big spot in the late 80s, early 90s to be on Oprah. You know, it was Paul McCartney and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lenny Clark one day.
You know, one time during the time when Bobby was starting out, I walked in and it was Bobby and Bill Burr and all these guys hanging out, Al Del Benny, and Al's making out with this chick that I know they're not going out. And I go, what the hell's going on here? And she goes, we're practicing our movie kiss. And I go, oh, let me try. And they break up, and I kissed Al right on the lips. And Bobby ran 2 blocks away, like literally ran out of the club and ran away. Like I'm not exaggerating. He ran away.
Yeah, I turned into a black guy when he sees a good magic trick. It was like fucking wow! I just fucking ran. Remember the time I hooked you up? Remember the time when you?
I knew you'd bring this up.
All right, I won't bring it up.
It's the apple, right? It's the apple.
It's the apple.
Go ahead, tell the story. I was so heartbroken. My wife threw me out. I had a 2-year-old child. I was devastated, and all Bobby wanted to do was get me laid.
That's it. That's all I'm trying to do.
Right.
It's just take his mind off of it. He's a good-looking Italian guy. He knows how to make a great sauce. And
gravy. It's called gravy.
All right. Well, I call it sauce. But Joe, do you call it gravy or sauce?
Gravy. Anything with meat is gravy.
Yeah, whatever. East Boston fucking crazy people. And I mean, this girl that I was kind of dating, but I really wasn't. But she was looking for she was beautiful. I mean, she was gorgeous. Gorgeous. She just got fake boobs. Beautiful. and she was looking for a boyfriend, but I couldn't be that for her. So I was like, I got somebody for you. And I bring her over to Joe's house and we're hanging out. And, you know, he winds up, I don't know what he did. He wound up making a fucking apple. What is it? An apple?
It's cinnamon apple. You dig out the center of the apple and you put butter and cinnamon inside and you put it in the microwave and it makes this amazing apple. But that's what I do. You know, Mike McDonald posted a TV show that I did with him in like 1984. And there was a joke on there that I had completely forgotten. It said, walking into an Italian's house is like an alarm goes off. Quick, put something in his mouth. So that's he brings someone to my house. I have to feed them. And
she wanted your penis, not a fucking apple with cinnamon.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know. I was a good boy back then, and I didn't know that you were like, hey.
I made her. I said, show him your new boobs, and she took them out. What do you need to know? She took these beautiful fresh boobies out. They were perfect, and you're like, you want some more apple? It's like, come on.
I was very heartbroken. Like getting laid wasn't on my mind at all. I was so naive. There was this other girl that I don't know if I should tell this story. I don't remember her name, but I was in bed with her, and she goes, "Spank me," and I'm like, did she just say spank me? Like, what if I heard that wrong and I whack her in the ass and she goes, what the fuck was that? I said, thank you. So, and then she moved to California and Roger fucked her.
You can give me a lead. I know what to do, whereas Joe may not.
Well, that chick was. Why am I telling these stories? I'm going to tell everybody going. I remember that, like, I was so naive. I met my wife when I was very young, and before I met her, there was nothing in my life but comedy. I didn't care about women as much as I cared about comedy. And this girl is eating at my house. I got a meatball, and I go, "You want to taste this?" And I go to feed it to her, and I go, "Do you mind eating off of my fork?" She goes, "I'm going to have your dick in my mouth in 5 minutes. You think I give a shit about the fork?" And I was like, oh, life has changed.
And it's going to taste like a meatball. Well, you know, you guys, I remember when you kept telling me, I'm writing this movie. And look, as a comic, you hear, we always say, I got this thing. And that thing never pans out to things, you know, very rarely, because it's very hard to get something made. Right. Yeah. And then when you got this made, when you started doing this, and I remember I went to the premiere, and I mean, it was a fucking great movie. Yeah. Not to say, like, when you're going to see one of your friends' movies, you kind of always bring your expectations down, because you don't want to, you know, like, it's like when somebody sends you a song. Hey, I wrote this. You want to hear it? Yeah, sure. Oh boy. You know, a lot of times it's like, fuck.
That's why I never send you my pilots.
So I still want to read those, you cocksucker. I can't believe you have pilots you won't send me. Anyways, you won't even cast me in them. But when I saw the movie, I was like, this fucking movie's great. And I just recently watched it again. You can't make this movie.
Not today.
I mean,
not anymore.
Let's just mush. You got the trailer? Can we show the trailer real quick?
We got good casting, though, too. We were lucky. We got very good casting.
We got somebody in the cast that's in a little trouble right now, too, which is...
Oh, yeah. She could not have timed that better.
This is the trailer. Can you make it big? There's no sound, Mush.
Is he from Newton?
His name is Mush for a reason.
We'll get it up in a
second. We've just been mushed. It's okay.
You know that's a Newton thing, mush?
Mush, what does that mean?
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go.
Right, here we go. Rewind it to the beginning. Oh, God.
The movie's called Suckers.
Bobby's a nice guy in a tough spot.
I will work my ass off to get us out of this hole. You know that.
He owes a bundle to a couple of bone-breaking loan sharks. And and is getting pressure from his wife Donna to get a job.
What do I have to do to explain to you that we are broke?
Are you idiots paying attention? Enter Reggie, the sensitive sales manager of the Southside car dealership.
Why would I buy a car from you? You love me.
He trains his sales force to do anything. And buries them up.
This is a great car.
I mean anything.
That's it, my friend. Are you gonna buy this car, man?
To sucker every last cent out of the innocent victims that come onto his lot. It's never enough. But Reggie isn't only dealing in cars. And Bobby's loan sharks are calling in their loan.
We've been waiting for you to get home.
That's when all hell breaks loose. If you think they're low-life scum when they're selling you a car, you should see them in their off hours. Louis Mandela, Lori Loughlin, and Daniel Gonzalez. Suckers, trust me, you're getting...
Does she get? I don't. She does she? Do you see?
Yes.
You see her naked?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's worth it. Just I think I.
He wouldn't let me in the room.
What?
He wouldn't let me in the room.
Why would he?
Closed set. Hey, you can't come in here for this shot. Son of a bitch. And
It was
then
Lori
she was
Loughlin.
20 years younger then.
20 years younger, and they had the girl. You had a sex scene in the car, which they never show. They never have a a little nude scene in movies anymore. And there's other things about this movie. I mean, you cannot fucking do.
Yeah.
No, it's
Horrible
definitely a
racism.
time capsule. It's a time capsule of that era of the 80s or 70s, 80s, early 90s of the way things were. And we tried to make it as accurate as possible for the way things were. But it's you have to look at it through the prism of this is what things were like then. And obviously the car business and a lot of things have changed since then.
Yeah. What was that? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Do you cast most of those people? Like, or like, how does that work? Do you have to run them because it's your idea, it's your thought? Do you get to cast exactly which one you want in there?
Well, we had a casting director who brought in a lot of people to read for the part. Everybody who got the part read for it and earned the part. And we're the best. We thought the best for the role. I mean, Louis Mandela, who plays Bobby, the new salesperson, it's based on Joe's life. He came in and had this East Coast accent. He was Joe. And it wasn't until at the rap party when we're hanging out, he's talking and he's coming up and going, "Hey, mate, that was a great time." And I was, "What's with the fake Australian accent?" He goes, "Oh, I'm an Aussie, man." He hid it from us the whole time.
No shit, that's
I had
great.
no idea.
How fucking good looking is that guy?
You know, one of the only things I wasn't really involved in was the casting, because I was on the East Coast while Roger was casting on the West Coast. And one day I had to pass through LA flying to Hawaii to do a gig, and they were casting the part of my ex-wife. And these gorgeous, first of all, I walk in with the gay casting director, and I look at his couch. I go, "Is that the casting couch?" He goes, "Yes, it is." I go, "Let's go." And he looks me up and down and goes, "You're not my shape." Asshole. So this girl comes in and she reads the lines and she goes, "You know what? I just feel like I should be taking my clothes off while I'm saying these words." And I'm like, "Yes." And the casting director goes, "No, we're okay. You can go." And I'm like, "You selfish son of a bitch."
Yeah. You're lucky she let that happen, because she'd fucking take you out right now. I was in the room and Joe Yannetty said yes when I wanted to take my clothes off.
There was something that happened though that I learned for the first time while we're casting this film. When there's a nude role like that, what the actresses do to signal their willingness to be nude and to do a nude role, so you don't hire somebody and then you get there the day of and they go, "Oh, I don't do nude roles." But it says in the script that you have sex, and so you want to avoid that. They come in and they'll wear a skirt with no panties, and they'll sit and they'll flash you. You know, you and the producers, there's maybe 4 or 5 people sitting on the couch, and you all looking right down the barrel like Sharon Stone or something. Right. And that's how they, through their body language, signal that they're game. They're not going to give you any trouble.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And then now, and there's racial stuff in here.
Lots of it.
But lots of, but it's funny because, you know, when you write something racist, you always have to have the other side of it. And you wind up getting away with that type of thing because of the way it ends, the way things happen, the way things unfold. Yeah. Right. And like this whole, right. I mean, this whole movie is based off of your experience working at a dealership, right, Joe?
Oh man, you want to hear a cool story about what you're talking about? There's the actor in the movie, his name is BT, black bald dude, and he's has
a stand-up comic named Brandon Terrell.
Yeah, and he has a confrontation with Reggie. So right before we shoot the scene, I tell BT a true story about I sold a guy a car. The guy was very well off, had perfect credit, he was either like a lawyer or a doctor or something. And when I went and told my boss looked at the guy's credit. He looked at the deal I made. And it was a deal where the dealership's making money. I'm getting a decent commission. And the guy's getting a fair deal on the car. So everybody's happy. And he goes, okay, go shake his hand. And I shake the guy's hand. We got to get the car cleaned up. And while we're waiting, the customer walks out of my office and my boss sees that he's black and he calls me over and he goes, hey, you didn't tell me he was a Tyrone. That's what he would call it.
He can't be racist.
If you're racist,
shut you down. YouTube's shut you down.
Joe was telling the reason he told that story is he told it to BT, our actor, he got him all wound up and angry.
Before the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he came into the scene with a full steam of anger.
Oh, and it was a true story. And I didn't even know what the guy was talking about. He's like, you didn't tell me he was black. When we shoot the scene, if you watch the movie, you can see Daniel jump up because BT reached down and grabbed him by the balls and he hits him in the chest so hard. And me and Roger are watching going, that was so awesome. And after the scene, he goes up to BT and he goes, hey, man, you don't have to hit me so hard. Like, we got it.
And the lead bald guy, what's his name again?
Daniel Benzali.
Daniel Benz, he's been in everything, right? He's been in like a bunch of...
he's got a long list of credits. Yeah.
Right before we shot the movie, he was the star of his own show called Murder One, where he was a lawyer, and the whole season was one trial. Oh. And it was a pretty successful show.
He is either the bad guy or the lawyer for the mob and everything.
Yeah, he was a machine. Whispers. I mean, he would come in and run his lines in his trailer over and over and over and over again because he had these big speeches to get out and these sales meetings, which was the opposite of Louis Mandylor, who would kind of just learn his lines a little bit because he liked to come into the scene fresh. So there are two opposites and luckily the way they met on screen, it really worked.
Well, we have one of those scenes right now with him because he did have these fucking rageful monologues, pep talks that he would give these guys. And I mean, as an actor, he must have just been like, fucking thank you to have to just give this fucking speech, just a fuck you speech to people. I mean, and he does it a few times, which I love.
Did you, either one of you, see the similarity? The first thing I thought of the first time I saw Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross was Suckers.
Yeah, that was I mean, if I had to pick, I mean, I told Joe this as we were writing the script. To me, this is Glengarry Glen Ross meets Clerks in a car dealership.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's great. Let's play that clip, Mush, if you got it. And here we go.
He's a good guy, Mo, you know? I like him.
Fuck him! Mo, fuck them before they fuck you, and believe me, they will. Oh, man, isn't that bad, is it? Let me tell you something, Green Pea. There is no room for loyalty in this whacked-out business. You make your money, and to hell with everybody else. That deal that he closed for you? We buried that fuck. You won't even know it till he tries to get out 3 or 4 years from now. And you could have made at least another half point in the interest.
I made enough on the deal.
What? What did you say? Did you say enough? Is that like when you're getting your dick sucked and right before you come, you say, that's enough? Never! It's never enough! I want to blow my load all over the place. And when I'm done, I want to do it all over again.
There you go.
That's just verbatim that's what Joe experienced in real life on a regular basis at the dealership where he was working.
Yeah. The
That's
guy I
crazy.
worked for was a maniac. Made a lot of money working for him, but he was crazy. He was so racist. And I'm working with people from Israel, from Iran, from Afghanistan, from Mexico, from Germany, from Russia, and everybody hates each other. But then when it comes time to make a deal, everybody loves each other till the deal's made. Fuck you.
I remember watching that movie, and I didn't have a car yet. I was probably like 17 or 18. And I remember telling my mother, before I buy a car, we have to watch that movie again and take notes. I swear to God, because I felt like I was going to get him. Because and now years later, I mean, 20 years after that, I buy my wife a Lisa or a Lexus, and I have a gig I have to go to in the afternoon on a Saturday, which was rare, but I had to get there. So we stopped by the Lexus dealership on a whim. She falls in love with the car, so they know they got her hooked. So they're trying to get me, and I'm like, look, just wrap it up. I got to go. I got to get out of here. And they're like, all right, and they come back. And this is one thing that every car dealership I ever had, you settle on a term for the lease, and this is this much, and then every mile over that's this much money. And then they go, okay, and then they bring it back, and when you go to sign it, it's fucking changed. And they hope you don't notice. Oh, and I'm like, then you got every mile over here is 50 cents, as opposed we talked about 15 cents. And all right, let me go in the back and talk to my guy. And I knew from your movie that was a complete crock of shit. So I'm looking at my watch, and I look at my wife, and I go, do you really want this car? And she goes, yeah. I go, then just get the fucking car. And I go, I got to go. So I gave the guy another minute. He didn't come out. I just walked back there. Now, they're supposed to be negotiating with the finance officer about I'll try to get it down to that. I walk back there, and the sales guy and the manager and the financial guy are eating cake. And they're all like this. And I walk in, and they all stop, and they all just look at me, and I go, I gotta fucking go. If you want to do this, do it now, or I'm leaving, and I'll never be back on this side of town. And they were like, "Do it, just get it done." But I learned that from 20 years prior watching Suckers. I swear to God, I just walked right the fuck in their back room.
You have a thing at the end too, actually, a special edition. Is it on the Blu-ray where Joe walks you through buying a car?
Oh,
On a board, a whiteboard. He tells you everything there is to know. Don't do this, do this, don't do that. They're gonna do this. Fuck them. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucking epic because I did that in my first car in LA. I watched the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Don't say anything.
I was working in Vegas. I think I was at the Tropicana, and Roger goes, we got to shoot this. So I flew from Vegas to LA. He picked me up at the airport. We went to a studio. We shot that. He drove me back to the airport. I flew back to Vegas and did my shows that night. Wow. That's why my hair is a mess in that video.
By the way, don't think I haven't been cursing your luxurious full head of hair this entire time.
Oh, dude, my hair is nuts. I hate it. I want to shave my head and this beard. I hate this beard. My wife thinks it's sexy. She loves it.
I think it's sexy.
Everybody thinks I'm going to get parts now as a hitman. Roger keeps telling me I look like a hitman.
He looks like a Don, like a real Don. Or if they ever get rid of that world's most interesting man, you slide up in that shit.
Hey, you kill some of my people, I kill some of your people. It's a negotiation.
You look like what's his name? A very famous actor that was in that movie with Kevin Costner.
He was a killer, whoever it was.
Yeah, he was the guy, the fiddler on the roof. What the fuck is his name?
Zero Mostel?
Tobo.
No, the famous actor. He was older, and he played like Kevin Costner was in the military, and he retired, and he went and stayed with this guy, and ends up falling in love with his wife, and then they.
That's what Google is for.
Tiburon, I know. I was hoping our producer might be
Edward
able to.
James Olmos.
No, way better than looking at that.
What did you say? You were hoping our producer would be on top of it?
Yeah.
All right, let me tell you what a mush is.
I just sent you a link. If you go to this sales blog, Joe wrote a blog that essentially summarizes what that what the video you're referencing says. So if someone wants to go read about here's how you can avoid getting screwed, you can go to that blog.
But do they still screw you the way they used to?
Yes.
Why wouldn't they?
Jesus. Well, because it seems like we were talking about this the other day. Back in the day, people had shit cars, fucked up cars. It seems like every car now is brand new. Nobody's driving a bucket. Everybody has a great car, and there's so much competition for cars now, as opposed to people buying used cars back then. Nobody has a fucking used car anymore. You very rarely see a used car lot, right?
Well, that's
no, they're still out there.
Used cars.
Yeah. So I can tell you as a guy who does endorsements for car dealerships, I do one for a very reputable place, like a large truck dealer, and they're making money, but they're selling cars super cheap. And you always wonder, well, how? That must be some sort of ripoff. They're not. They're dealing in such high volume of vehicles, they get to buy them so cheap. So they're making a little bit off of a lot of people as opposed to trying to rip each person off. And they may be ripping some people off, not ripping off, but making a profit off of them, you know what I mean? But that's their business, but they do it pretty good. But I got to tell you, over the years, I have seen so many cases of fuckery at these places, new, used.
You make much more off a used car.
Oh yeah. Oh, much for more. Sure.
I hated selling used cars because they would always come back. This is broke. And a month later, it's called a back charge or something. They take it out of your pay because they fixed something on a used car. I hated selling used cars.
And they take that from you, not from the dealership?
Well, part of it comes out of because it reduces your commission. So whatever the percentage was, they reduce it by that much. But I only really screwed one guy because he broke. I want to hear it. All right. So this young kid comes in. He's from Iowa. The car costs, he kept saying this car costs more than my parents' first house. And I spent 2 days with this guy. He went and brought his wife. And finally, I come to a deal. One of the best lines ever. My boss goes and talks to the guy. And the guy goes, I already have a car. And my boss goes, listen, in Los Angeles, your car is like your foot. You need two to get around. I'm like, he just fucking thought of that. Like, how did he think of that? So the guy grinds me down, and I go to my boss and I go, look, this is all I can get out of this guy. And I could have sold 5 cars in the amount of time I spent with this kid because he just graduated college. He just got married, and I felt bad. And I go, this is the deal. He says he'll buy the car right now for this. And he goes, get this weak sock off my lot. Like, that's the deal. Take the deal. Get him the fuck out of here. So I go back to the kid, and he goes, do you think you can make the payment $20 less? And I went, I'll be right back. Now, the deal I gave him, it's called a mini deal. The minimum you would make on a car at this dealership was $100. I was making $100. I went back to my boss. I said, write me a fucking lease for 5 years. Make the payment this much. Tell me this much of a down payment. And my boss looks at me and goes, are you serious? I go, give me a fucking lease for those exact numbers. I went back to the kid. I went, look, you want to buy this car. This is the only way you can buy this car. Your wife doesn't want to put a lot down. You don't want a high payment. You got to lease the car. This is the only thing you can do. And he goes, well, can I get a stereo? I said, yeah, it's $20 a month more. He goes, okay. And he took the deal. Before he left the dealership, I had a $1,300 voucher in my pocket, was the commission I made on that fucking car. I was giving him such a good deal, and he would never know that I fucked him that bad until he goes to trade in that car and they tell him he can't.
Well, that's funny because we have him here right now. Michael, let's let Michael in. He went to jail after that because him and his girlfriend got into a fight. He murdered her over that lease.
That's all too common, though. I think that's really just one story. We talk to salesmen, and they all tell their biggest lunker stories and their best deals stories. And it's imagine if you're going to go buy a car and you think you're going to get a good deal. It's like saying I'm going to go play tennis against Andre Agassi and I'm going to beat him. And I practice once every 3 years, and he practices every day. Yes. You've got no chance. They're going to make money off of you.
If you serve and knock his wig off, you had a chance. There is one shot.
Yeah,
you know what? My sister, right off the ground.
My
the
sister
mindset you need to.
Go ahead.
I always say the mindset you need to have is this is what I'm going to pay. I'm probably going to get fucked, but at least I know it's in my budget. And that's
right. Well, you bring Joe with you. That's what you do. Yeah. And then Joe knows how. That's what I did when I bought my car. I brought Joe with me, and we negotiated. And you just have to know what they're paying for the car.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, you know Mike Clark, Lenny's brother.
Yeah.
But my first, I start making money as a comedian. I'm gonna go lease a car. Mike comes with me. The guy gives me the first shot, and Mike Clark goes, "That's a great fucking deal. You should take it." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." He goes, "No, it's a good deal. Take it." And I got screwed so bad on that first lease ever because Mike wouldn't shut up, and he thought it was funny that he helped the salesman.
My best friend owns a boutique car dealership where he sells like Lamborghinis and Ferraris to mostly NHL players and athletes.
Sorry,
and
one second, Mike. Who?
Pete.
What'd you call him?
I'm sorry, my other best friend, my number two best friend, number two best friend.
Number two.
Sorry,
okay,
sorry.
just check.
And his best thing is because he's dealing with people who all have the money, so they're not really haggling over the price. And when somebody off the street tries to haggle with Pete does the takeaway. He goes, "It's not for everybody, buddy." And once you say that to a fucking guy, you stab his ego. He's like, "No, I can take it. I'll take it. I'll buy." And then at that point, he's robbing people blind.
You know what? I have to learn to do this. I know you're a radio guy. I gotta learn how to talk in my inside voice. I can't do it. I worked on radio with Sweeney. I still couldn't do this.
I don't hear it. All I hear is a whiny New Yorker with a lisp. So I hear nothing good about my voice.
Yeah, he has a magical voice, and he knows it. Don't let him fucking be humble.
Yeah, I gave Mush the link for if people want to find the film where you can find it on Vimeo on demand. Yeah, right. Starting Friday, it'll be available.
Now,
it's worth watching. It really is. It's an old school good movie. I remember it when Bobby brought it up and he showed the trailer. I'm like, I've seen it already. I remember the movie.
Well, you know why the movie's good? Because it has there's not just one plot. You're not just following a couple or a guy. There's so many things going on. It flies through the movie. Everybody's kind of got from the guy banging the girl, getting the car stolen, to the guy bringing his fucking desk outside and fucking the guy out there. To everybody's got something going on. You gave everybody a little thing to have that was
really happening,
funny, that pushes that movie right through to the end. And then the ending, you're like, what the fuck? What just happened? Because you think it's going left and you guys go right. And the ending scene is hilarious. It's really funny. It's very funny. It's very fucked up, but it's very funny. Now,
it all leads to
release this.
Well, we restored it. I've spent the last 2.5 years. Just to back up, producers who made the film were going to throw it in the trash because they were dissolving their company and they weren't keeping all the elements. And I said, "Whoa!" So I saved the negative, just inches from getting thrown away, and sat on it for a while and finally got around to rescanning the negative. You scan every individual frame into 4K and then recolor correct it all the way through and make a brand new master, which looks 100 times better than the original standard def version that was released on HBO in 2000.
Wow.
That's crazy. Every frame you had to scan?
That's how you do it. Yeah, you put it through a machine and it scans each individual frame. And after that, you color correct it. Then you take that master and you give it to an expert. They're called dust busters. They go through and look at every frame and paint out the dust, at least the egregious dust, so that it looks beautiful.
Wow.
It's crazy. And someone just asked one of our ladybugs here, do you have any crazy stories from crashing?
Oh, I worked on season 1, yeah, with Pete Holmes and company and Judd Apatow as they were figuring that show out. Yeah.
I love
Anything
it. That
happened?
was great.
Pete was awesome. He's so funny. He'll come in. He only works 4 or 5 hours a day. That's his like sweet spot of energy, and he's really on it and focused on it. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, 5 p.m. and he's out of there.
Uh-huh.
And we'd spend a lot of that time just talking about life and the meaning of life and existentialism. And it was so much fun going to work on that show for that reason.
Right.
Bobby and I just did a show with him last November.
Well, he was on Leary's Comics Come Home.
Yeah. They canceled it this year, man. That was so sad.
Yeah, that was I mean, that's, what is that, 16,000 people?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts. Now speaking of you doing comedy back then, you're in this other movie when stand-up stood out.
Yeah.
And you tell a story because people don't know that when people back in the day, when headliners would come into Boston, you guys were like, all right, go fuck yourself. You're making this much money. And you guys would fucking go on before them and just level the room.
Yeah.
And then just sit in the back and watch them fucking squander. And tell us a story about
with Colin.
Yeah.
Well, it was Nick's Comedy Stop. And back then, Nick's, like, there was no middle ground. Either you destroyed or they fucking hated you. And Colin, like in Boston, it was like if you ever ran into anybody and went, oh, the fucking guys in Boston are assholes, you know that guy was a fucking dick, because all you had to be in Boston was a good guy. And if you were funny enough, then you were welcomed in. And everybody loved Colin. And Colin was funny, and he was a great fucking guy. So he goes on after, I think it was me and Sweeney.
Yeah.
And people are just because he's from New York, like no other reason. They hear New York, and Bostonians just fucking go after him and won't let him talk, and they're just tearing him apart. And he's like, fuck this. And he's ready to walk off stage. And I jumped up on stage and I was like, hey, this guy's with me. He's cool. He's okay.
You're gonna tell him you're from East Boston.
Yeah.
They were gonna kill him, Mike.
Yeah.
They weren't letting you walk through the fucking room.
No.
Like, it was a fucking nice long walk through the crowd.
Uh-huh.
You weren't gonna make it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was one guy, it was the worst fucking night of his life. He went on after me and Sweeney. And actually Joyce Culhaywick, the lady that did the reviews, was there. And this guy, I don't know, should I say his name? He went on. He fucking died. Horrible death. Like 200 people walk out on him, and he goes to his hotel room next door in between shows. And he had it in his contract that anyone that went on before him had to work clean.
Oof.
So I work clean. Sweeney works clean. The first show, he goes back to his hotel room and gets the worst review of his life. And it pissed off me and Sweeney, because the lady said the first two guys were much funnier. And I'm like, you could have said my name. And I was kind of new. So now he comes back after this horrible review, and he has to do the second show. So he's downstairs and he's pacing and he's nervous wreck. And I go on and have a great show. Second show, Sweeney's fucking destroying. And Sweeney introduces him, and he's not there. So Sweeney goes into another routine. I run downstairs. I'm like, hey, man, he just introduced you. As he's running up the stairs, this is the line Sweeney is saying: $1.50 for a chocolate chip cookie? What the fuck you got in it? The body of Christ? And the guy goes, oh, no. And he goes back down the stairs, and I had to grab him. And he came up and he went on. It was horrible. And like a month later, I'm at the Improv in Los Angeles, and he walks in, and I go, hey, how you doing, man? He goes, like, he doesn't know who I am. He goes, yeah. And he walked by me, and I went, hey, I opened for you at Nick's about a month ago. And he comes back, oh, I'm really sorry, man. Nice to see you again. He was all like fucking humble then. But that happened to a lot of people. And
It happened to Colin twice. I remember Colin was
did
on,
it really? He did it again.
he did it again. He walked 500 people. I literally heard, as they were walking out, they're going. They were whistling. They were all whistling, and they fucking. And he's on stage going, "Oh, apparently you want some dick jokes, okay?"
And it wasn't the comedians; it was the audience. It was like a sports team.
It was both, dude. Because I was there some nights, and in the poor headliner, whoever the fuck it was, Don Gavin's hosting. What? And then Sweeney's doing a fucking guest spot. Go fuck yourself. And they go up and just step on their necks. All right, bye-bye. And then fucking, you guys ready for the... He was on Evening at the Improv. He's from fucking Toledo. Boo. Fuck you.
You know what, though? There were three guys, really, that didn't give a shit. And the first one was Seinfeld. Like, I remember watching Seinfeld going, man, he went on after... And I wasn't on the show, but I was there to see it. He went on after the best of the best, worked squeaky clean, and still had a great set. And I was like, wow, you can really do that. And then after the show, he said some really nice things about Boston to me. He said how much he liked it. And the other guy, Leno, because Leno was from the area, so he knew. Yeah. And then the third guy was Pat. What was Pat's last name? The real Italian guy, Pat Cooper. Pat Cooper went up after me and Sweeney, and he went, look at this. I was just in Vegas, big neon signs. I got a fucking stamp, says Knicks. Yannetty's got shit stains on his jacket. Sweeney looks like a fucking homeless person. He shit all over us and fucking destroyed, man. This old-time guy who knew how to get down and dirty, and he fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
Those were the only three guys that did really well.
So this... I'm excited this movie's coming back out. And where can we see this again, Roger? Where can we see this again?
You can go to my website or Joe's website, rogernygard.com or Yannetty.com or Vimeo on demand. And it's also on Blu-ray on Amazon.
Sweet.
Perfect. You guys got to go check this movie out. Hilarious movie. They don't make them like this anymore. And
you learn a lot.
A classic. I would say
it'll save you thousands. It'll save you thousands of dollars on your next car purchase.
Yeah, you get a little TNA and some crazy fucked up jokes.
The movie's called Suckers. Called Suckers.
Yes, and
Suckers.
now Roger,
have we even said that yet?
We have now.
We said it. We talked about it a lot before. And Roger, what else you working on? What are you putting me in?
My prior documentary we talked about is called The Truth About Marriage. The one before that is called The Nature of Existence. And before that, 6 Days in Roswell about UFO fanatics. And of course, I made the Trekkies documentaries. So that's my entire resume of documentaries. Right now, I'm cutting the Showtime documentary about the history of the Comedy Store, which is going to premiere on Showtime October 4th. 5 episodes. Mike Binder is directing it.
That's
and so you direct, you write, you
edit,
thank you, Mike. I was getting there, you cocksucker. I really did stutter on that one. And I've been in nothing that you do, so I take offense.
We need to. Well,
you're lying. You were in something that you did.
What?
You were in a thing. Weren't you? Didn't you edit the thing that he did for Larry David that he had to insult Buckner?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bill Buckner. I cut the Bill Buckner episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And you were too mean.
Yeah, dude. Did you see that shit, Roger?
Yes. They
kept telling us, Mike. They kept telling us, bring it down. They said, go ahead, do whatever you want. So we come out of the gate. Hey, Buckner, you fucking fag. You stink. And they were like, no. Bring it down. They literally kept bringing us down. Then I go back. I go, hey, Buckner, go back, get a time machine. Go back to 86 and bend your knees, you fucking asshole. No. Take it down. They got us all the way down to, hey, Buckner, you stink. Right? So we're like, whatever, right? So then they go, okay, do one more take, do whatever. You guys, we got it. So do your thing. So I'm like, hey, Buckner, Buckner, you're a loser. And the kid next to me goes, hey, Buckner, go fuck your mother. Harry was like, "Why would he say that? Why would he say that?" He was mad.
That is one of my favorites. That is of all the Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes I've edited. That's certainly among my favorites, if not the favorite, because it's got such a great ending, and Buckner redeems himself in such a terrific way.
Yeah, and now he's a big fly fisherman. We were
He
talking
died.
about. I know he's dead. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
It sucks. Too bad. His daughter was in the episode too, I believe. Right? That's why he. agreed to do
right.
it.
Yeah,
That's right. Am I having a stroke, or is Roger's video a little blurry?
You're having
You're in
a
a
stroke.
stroke.
Okay. All right. Well, nice knowing you guys.
Now I gotta put my
Good
glasses
thing they
on.
didn't cast you on my pilots.
He's more clear than I am.
No, when he talks. Wait, when he talks. Wait, go ahead, say something, Roger.
I keep trying to get Joe to write another script with me, and it's not easy, but I'm working on it. And so maybe the key is, Joe, let's write a script with a nice role for Bobby Kelly.
Hey, listen,
fuck
Joe's
him.
old news now. I used to work at the docks in Bayonne, New Jersey. I got stories out the ass. We can do a whole different kind of script and come up with a whole different movie. Joe,
You used to
sorry,
work where? What was it?
I used to work at the docks in Bayonne, New
Oh
Jersey.
my God.
The warehouses. Oh, you want to talk about characters? Black guys, white guys, Iranians, all run by the mob. That's some shit.
Dude.
All right,
I grew
let's
up
do
with.
it.
That's what I grew up with.
I don't like
Yeah.
but Joe. He just cut me and you out of the fucking deal with Roger.
No, man, we're actually going to have Joe's going to play the mob guy. So he's
What
in
am
the
I
movie,
doing?
but it's in a different capacity.
Now I gotta
You're
get
the guy that
beer.
Joe kills. Joe,
Yeah.
Joe's the assassin, and you're the hapless guy who doesn't see it coming.
And we need to get the bald guy from Suckers to back so that he could play the warehouse manager and yell at everybody.
Yeah, but he
Dead.
whispers to
Oh,
him.
he's dead?
Every scene he does.
No, he's around.
Yeah, he's
Oh, is he around? Oops,
Yeah.
sorry. Oops, sorry about that.
Well, we gotta get
We
Lewis.
can't-
Lewis is actually making movies about all this stuff too.
He's busy. We can get Lori in 5 months.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What if she comes out all hardened with tattoos and fucking like a cholo?
You want to
be
hear a
great.
fucked up thing? Bobby told you about my second wife. So my first wife is what Laurie Loughlin is based on. Her character is based on my first wife, and I made her so much nicer than my ex-wife. And then we showed the movie to people, and they were like, "We hate that fucking woman," and we had to cut out so much of her stuff because
Really?
people fucking hated her. I was like, "What was I married to?" Shit, my daughter's gonna watch this.
By the way, I
Joe
was
is,
talking earlier about Anthony Quinn, who is who I was trying to think of. The movie was Revenge with Kevin Costner. So
Zorba, not Hot Tin
Fiddler on the Roof. I was wrong. Zorba the Greek. Wrong side of the Mesopotamian.
I put Joe in the marriage documentary, and I asked Joe, "What is the worst thing about being married?" And he said, "I don't like somebody touching all my stuff." And I said, "Joe, if you get married again," this is what he was thinking of getting married a third time. I said, "Something's going to get broken." And he said, "Yeah, I know." And he did it anyway.
Yeah,
Now,
but this one,
how's the marriage going, Joe?
honest to God, like I couldn't. My neighbor makes fun of me, and only Bobby will truly understand this. No matter what I do, my wife goes, "Okay." And this woman will fucking kill me. She was born in Dublin, Ireland. She has an Italian last name because her great-great-grandfather was Italian. She is like, I'm not exaggerating. She's the strongest, like physically strongest woman I've ever known in my life. And she will fucking kill me. Before I came on here, I had to yell at her to stop making noise upstairs because she's trying to fix the hot tub. She's got the refrigerator out. She's got a hole in the wall. She's trying to get to the fucking power for the jacuzzi jets in the tub. I love her.
I had to yell at her. I love that.
I'll show you the text. Stop fucking walking around. Because this mic picks up everything and she's walking around upstairs and I can hear the thumping.
All right, well, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Joey, I love you, buddy. I'm so
I love
happy.
you too, Robert.
I'm so happy for you. I watch your sunset boat rides.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you won't come fucking fly fishing on my lake.
I'm telling you, I'm working on something, so I might be up there sooner than later.
Get some strippers up there, Joe. If you want Bobby to show up, get some strippers on your boat, like everybody else with a boat.
No, his wife is the greatest lady. I've never met anyone that would put up with more shit than his wife.
Don't fucking ruin the stripper line with my wife. Roger, it's good to talk to you again. It's good to see you.
Likewise.
And, I am available, so let's get something going.
Yeah,
and,
Yannetty, who? I'm done
Hey,
with Joe.
fuck you.
Yannetty, me and you, he's gonna be fucking hooking up with Calta.
Joe doesn't know any strippers. He's useless.
Fuck you, man. I went out with strippers. My brother ratted on me. My mother said, "What's her name?" I said, "She's not a stripper." She said, "What's her name?" I said, "Autumn Blue."
All right, man. Well, listen, check out the movie, everybody. Check out Joe's website, and if you see him, go see his stand-up comedy and go watch some of Roger's movies because Trekkie is fucking amazing. I'm gonna go check out that Area 51 one and
6 days in Roswell.
Always fucking funny, but always interesting. Always got a comedy slang to it. So thanks for coming on, guys. Really appreciate it.
That was fun,
Thank
man.
you.
Thanks,
See you guys
guys.
later. Take care, man. That was fun.
Roger's ahead of his time because Roger's got a bunch of documentaries and pilots that are all about he was like reality before reality. Like he did documentaries about weird fucking people, and now that's all that's on TV. He did the Trekkies thing. He's got a couple other ones. He's got one about a preacher. He's got one about people who run around and chase auctions called the Possum Run. I mean, he was ahead of his time with that stuff.
Yeah. It was I think and he's really I mean this movie really fucking talented. I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, it was
really
good. I
did.
mean, I remembered it.
I rewatched it again this last week, and it's one of those movies you can just sit down and watch over and over again.
Yeah.
Anywho, that was a great show. Good stuff. Good to talk to Joe. He was my fucking mentor, dude. He was like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing comedy.
He's got that quality about him. Like it's fatherly and not an old guy kind of way.
Yeah, and he would let me do a lot of guys wouldn't let me do my stand-up back then. They wanted me to be clean and be fucking politically correct or whatever. He let me just go up on all his shows and I would open for him and fucking he didn't give a fuck what I did.
Yeah.
And many, many times did he let me stay at his house or, took me in. What are you looking at? What's going on over there? You watching the game?
1-1. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for I'm opening up about my good friend, and you're worried about a fucking hot.
I will never be that guy that appreciates sentimental stories.
All right. Great show.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. What do we have tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Mush. What do we got? I don't know where Mush is.
Tomorrow we do not have a guest, but Thursday we have Rich Voss, and Friday we have Aaron Berg.
Ooh-wee.
Thursday, I'm not here, remember?
Why don't you hit Thursday?
Thursday is my son's birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you about something.
Yeah, please.
On Friday's show,
yeah,
I will tell you everything that I bought for my son for his 14th birthday. Give me an idea what you think you spend on your son money-wise for his 14th birthday.
$1,000.
Would you spend $1,000 on Max for his birthday when he's 14?
What are you talking about? I did.
Okay.
If you add everything up that I spend, barbecue, clown, Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, I'm not even. All right, you want to throw the party in?
I'm spending fucking $5,000.
I think I'm getting close to that right now. I think I'm approaching $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, we're cutting it down. I mean, this year we cut it down, but
he only turned 14 once. That's it's his first year in high school. He's getting fucked because he's got to do high school from home.
Yeah,
so
dude. Yeah. Plus, you got a job. You're making some good money. You might as well spend it. You're not taking it with you.
We're going to Eddie V's for his birthday.
I love Eddie V's. I want that seafood tower so bad.
I want to get it
so bad.
Would you ever go on a vacation just to eat food?
What?
I'm thinking about flying to San Francisco for the weekend just to eat.
Why? It's a shit city.
I know. I just want to go there to eat. Go to eat.
The place is open right now.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm not going, because Tampa flies straight to San Francisco, and Swiggy's from San Francisco, so I could probably convince him to go, although that bitch doesn't eat. But I want to fly to San Francisco, eat lunch, dinner, go to bed, wake up the next day, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then come home on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why would you go there? Just go to fucking somewhere better than that.
I want to go to eat. This is my thing. I want to go to each place and eat food that's known from that place.
What are you gonna eat? What's San Francisco's not known for food.
Seafood.
Nope, Boston.
Well, I definitely want different kind of seafood, but definitely, I mean, I've eaten lobster in Maine. I would love to go to Boston. I would love to go to Maryland and get crabs.
Okay, I did once. I got crabs in Boston from a
that
redhead.
tripper.
Oh, you cocksucker! I beat you. I beat you, motherfucker. All right, so
and I don't know how to comment in the comments, but yes, Artie Lang has been on my show several times.
how is Artie doing? Does anybody know?
I don't know, but that's kind of good. No hearing about Artie is usually good.
No news is good news. And then you bailed out of the little video for a second. What happened?
Me?
Yes.
I disappeared. I hit the fucking wrong button and it logged me out, so I had to log back in right away.
Switch the thing now. Mush is on top and you're on bottom.
Now you're on the left and I'm on the right.
That's fine. I don't mind that. Yeah, fucking San Francisco stinks. I love San Fran to go there, but to go there for food is ridiculous. There's nothing that they're known for.
I don't seafood chapino.
They're not known for seafood, buddy.
Okay.
What name a San Francisco
Ghirardelli chocolate?
Name a San Francisco dish.
Chapino.
A dish.
That is a
That
dish.
guy.
What is it?
What'd you say, Mush?
I'm not going to repeat it because I already know what's going to happen.
What'd you say?
I didn't hear any of it at all.
I said, "Who's that guy?" Exactly.
Well, I don't. It's out of context now.
No, whatever. Listen, they do not have a dish.
They do have a dish.
And fucking Pacino is not a dish.
Seafood chapino. CIOPPI.
Nobody knows San Francisco for Look at Miami, Cuban sandwich, Boston, clam chowder, Maine, lobster, New York, pizza.
Florida, nothing. Tampa,
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay, great. Philly, steak and cheese. Boom. Buffalo wings.
Pete and I were so fat together.